There are times when a warning does not come from the future. It comes from the past. A blind woman in a forgotten village in Bulgaria saw something more than 30 years ago. She saw it with a clarity that terrified those around her. And what she saw corresponds exactly to what is happening right now, as you watch this video. Her name was Baba Vanga. She described 3 signs that you would recognize if you knew where to look. 3 signs that, in her own words, would mark the beginning of something the world would not see coming. Before you continue, take a breath. Because what you are about to hear will change the way you see everything that is happening right now. Like this video now, before you get completely lost in what we're about to reveal. Share it with someone who feels that something in the world is changing. And if you're new here, subscribe, because the kind of content we cover is the kind that most channels avoid entirely. Vangelia Pandiva Gushtarova, known worldwide as Baba Vanga, was a Bulgarian mystic who lost her sight at the age of 12 during a dust storm. From that moment until her death in 1996, she made predictions that defied any rational explanation. Important, Baba Vanga never left any written texts. Her visions were recorded orally by close collaborators. What exists are interpretations of her words. And some of those interpretations are impossible to ignore. Her documented track record. She predicted the fall of the Soviet Union, the Chernobyl disaster in 1986, the September 11th attacks, describing, according to those who heard her, steel birds crashing into steel wolves, the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, and the sinking of the Russian submarine Kursk, about which she said, it will fall underwater and be carried away by the water. Researchers estimate that approximately 85% of her predictions have found events to justify them. And now, her words about this specific moment, the next 72 hours, are impossible to ignore. Because what she saw is already happening. Baba Vanga is credited with a vision that her interpreters describe as follows. The sky above powerful nations will become heavy. The decisions made above will begin to fall on those below with a weight that no one has felt in a long time. Traditionally, this image was associated with general political pressure. But when you read it in light of what is happening right now, it fits in a way that is difficult to ignore. This week, Moody's rating agency published a global risk report describing 6 scenarios that could hit credit markets in 2026. In the last 2 weeks, the S&P 500 began February with corrections led by the technology sector. The Dow Jones suffered a 5.5% drop in a single period. And in Asia, Hong Kong plummeted 13.22% in a matter of days. Gold, historically a safe haven asset in times of crisis, broke through the $5,000 per ounce barrier. These are not normal movements. If Baba Vanga was right, the weight falling from above will not just be a market correction. It will be the first sign of something bigger. But Baba Vanga did not speak only of markets. She spoke of the earth. Her interpreters collect these words attributed to her. When the earth shakes where no one expects it, the sleeping nations will wake up with a start. And that awakening will not be peaceful. For decades, this vision was read as a seismic event. But there is another interpretation. In recent weeks, Moody's identified geopolitical fractures in areas considered stable as a critical risk for 2026, tensions surrounding Greenland, the unresolved war between Russia and Ukraine, and increased friction in Asia involving larger economies. At the same time, in Europe, the rise of ultranationalist movements has led to rhetoric that analysts compare to the 1930s. And there is one nation that acted as a mediator for decades that has just changed its stance for the first time in its recent history. If Baba Vanga was right, the earth that breaks does not always warn us. Sometimes, it just fractures. There is one vision of Baba Vanga that took her collaborators decades to interpret. She spoke of voices. Voices that would come through a medium that no one in my time could imagine. Voices that would speak the truth at the very moment the world least wanted to hear it. There will be people who seek the truth before the chaos. Those people will be in a different place when the chaos comes. This vision does not point to a politician. It does not point to a leader. It points to people like you, who are choosing right now to inform themselves instead of looking the other way. And according to Baba Vanga, that decision is not a small one. Breathe. The prophecy that is coming is the one that Baba Vanga's researchers discuss in hushed tones. It is the most specific. It is the most disturbing. And it is the one that connects most closely with what is happening right now. But before we get there, if this content is opening your eyes, like it now. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. And subscribe, because what's coming in the next videos goes much deeper. This is the prophecy that changed the way I see what's happening in the world. Baba Vanga spoke of fire. But not the fire we know. A fire that doesn't come from the sky. A fire that comes from water. Her words, according to Bulgarian interpreters, said something like this. When fire comes from the depths of the sea, nations will lose their voice. There will be 3 wounds before the world awakens. For years, no one knew how to read this. Until now. Submarine cables carry 97% of the world's internet. They are the nervous system of modern civilization. Without them, markets grind to a halt. Governments lose communication. The world literally loses its voice. And here's what makes this prophecy impossible to ignore. In 2025, there were 12 incidents of submarine cables being cut around the world. 12. In a single year. In the Baltic Sea, at least 11 documented incidents between 2023 and 2025, including the cable between Poland and Sweden cut just days ago. In the Red Sea, 2 cut cables that disrupted the internet in parts of Asia and the Middle East. In Taiwan, the Trans-Pacific Express cable damaged, with suspicion of Chinese ship involvement. 3 areas. The number Baba Vanga mentioned. In January 2025, NATO launched Operation Baltic Sentry, warships, underwater drones, and satellites monitoring the seabed. Why do you need underwater drones to monitor infrastructure if everything is going well? If Baba Vanga was right, the fire that comes from water will not burn cities. It will shut down the connection that keeps the world running. And when that happens, most people won't know what happened. You already know. But Baba Vanga never ended with darkness. Never. Because amid all her visions of collapse and conflict, there was one constant that her collaborators recorded. Those who seek the truth before chaos are the ones who survive chaos. Not because they have more power, but because they made the right decision at the right time. Baba Vanga saw 2 types of people in dark times. Those who waited. And those who chose to be informed. The difference between the 2 was not money. It was not power. It was a decision. A decision you made when you clicked on this video. That moment is now. What does all this mean for you? First, these prophecies are not about 2050. They are about your 2026. About the next 72 hours. Market movements, severed cables, geopolitical fractures, it's all happening right now. Second, knowledge is the only preparation that no one can take away from you. By watching this video, you are already ahead of 99% of the people who will be caught off guard when these signs become impossible to ignore. Third, watch for these specific signs in the coming days: unusual movements in Asian and European markets. New incidents involving undersea cables, especially in the Baltic or Red Sea. And abrupt changes in countries that until now have acted as mediators. Don't panic. Be prepared. Remember, Baba Vanga identified 3 signs for this moment. The weight falling from above, the financial instability that has already begun. The earth fracturing, the destabilization of regions we thought were safe. The fire born of water, the silent attack on the infrastructure that connects the world. If this video opened your eyes, give it a like. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Because in my next video, I will reveal the vision that Baba Vanga refused to share until the last days of her life. What she said about April 15, 2026. Will leave you speechless. Stay informed. Stay prepared. See you in the next one.